welcome, welcome, welcome. Dr. G. Alfred Palmer here with another edition of Purpose Sphere. Thank you for joining me. I really do appreciate it. And I'm looking forward to this particular time we're going to have together because we're going to try to invoke some new aspects into the broadcast today. I don't know how good it's going to work, so just bear with me and we'll do the best we can. First of all, please like, share, and hit the notification bell and subscribe. Most importantly, I want you to subscribe, and I'm going to give you a chance to do that right now. Go ahead and subscribe to this channel, The Purpose Sphere, and because we talk about things from a much more intimate spiritual perspective here on this channel, and whether folks agree or disagree, we're going to do our thing here on this particular channel, whether anybody has an issue with it or not. So help us out with that by, subscribing, hitting the notification bell, like, and sharing, and allowing this to be shared on with other people. That's would be very, very much first appreciated. And then not only appreciated, but very grateful as well. So, okay. All right. What I want to do is I'm trying to invoke and to use a little bit more of the technology that's out there, and to add it to the stream, and key in on that as opposed to keying in on me. So we're going to try to see how it works. You can see me, but not very well. But what I'm going to do is I want to show you that this is what the program's about today. It's about the creation matrix. The creation matrix. Now that may sound funny. You may say, well, what is the creation matrix? Well, the creation matrix is our way of understanding how the creation has been set up, and so that we can gain a better understanding of how the order, because everything, the creator is orderly, lawful, right? Logistic and legal and legitimate. There's everything's done in order and in a proper order. And so we want to share some of the things that I believe that is very important relative to this, in using the matrix, the what we call the creation matrix. And in using the creation matrix, we also want to allow you to, I'm going to try to get it as big as possible for you, and to look at the matrix. And along with looking at the matrix, I want to discuss it, and as we walk through it, and I want to come up with why it's important that we as individuals see the importance of order, of sex, gender, and procreation, or being seeing our children. I have to be careful on Facebook. I'm trying to word things without, throwing up flags. So we want to talk about things that would promote the reverse, not the less participation in feticide, if you would. Okay, so that's what this is going to be speaking to. Now I'm going to be using this matrix that I believe that I've worked on for a while now, and I mean the principles are and the foundation of it has developed over the last decade, or even past the last decade. So it's important to me to share this with you. And let me get one thing. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. I needed to get my eyes. Okay, they're not my eyes, they're my glasses. Words are important. The creation matrix. The creation matrix. Let's see here. I'm going to try to make things a little. There you go. Okay, we'll leave it like that. Okay, so the creation matrix. And in the creation matrix, we're going to be talking about, and from the biblical perspective or the biblical narrative, the process of and the importance of, because what we're seeing right now, we're seeing an attack on sex and gender in the media. We're seeing an attack on marriage, and we're seeing the attack on children or the birth of children. These are critical aspects that has to be addressed, because these things are critical to our sustainability as a species on this planet. And listen, know this for sure. The plan of the Creator doesn't change. The Creator's plan is found right here in the book of Genesis, right? Let me pull this up for you. It's in Genesis, and it's in chapter 1. And I don't like just shouting stuff out. So let me just find out where I'm supposed to be. Okay, there it is. I knew that. All right, so Genesis 1:26, and it says, "Let us make man in our own image and after our own likeness, and let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, the fowl of the air, and over the cattle, and over all the earth, and every creeping thing that creeps upon the earth." So it's important that we understand that is called the dominion mandate. The dominion mandate is what the Creator has established for mankind to accomplish here on earth. Now, if we, as those that are here right now, fail to adopt and accomplish that work, we will be moved out of the way, and the next generation or the next iteration of humanity will come, and it will continue that way until people, us, humanity, come in line with the word that God said, that the Creator has dictated, because it is a mandate. It's not a choice. It's not a choice. It is a mandate. And if it's a mandate, that means it's dictatorial. It's not a process where we vote on. It is where the Creator is saying, this is what will happen. Now, we can either get in line with it, or we can choose not to and be moved out of the way for the next iteration or the next generation to come to the place where they may be able to obey. So it's important. Now let's look at this from the very top, where of our creation matrix, and we look at Genesis 1:1, and it says, "In the beginning, God created heaven and earth." Now, when we look at God, we have to look at and understand that God is a religious term. Okay, and I said time and time again that the biblical narrative is not a religious book. Bible, basic instructions about living effectively. Basic instructions about living effectively here on this earth. See, the biblical narrative is for us to know how we're supposed to function and to operate in this sphere, in this atmosphere, in this environment, in this realm. That's what it's for. And if we don't want to do that, if we fail to do that, then what will happen is we will be replaced by the next iteration. So, but it's important to understand this, that God is what we see here on the matrix: Father, Son, and Spirit. Now, I know that those things sound like religious terms, but they're really not. They are actually functional terms, operational terms that we can use, even breaking it down even further if we wanted to, and if we need to. If we were to look at a father, the father is basically the originator, right? Not only the originator, but also if we were going to say, is the mind, right? Is the mind, because to be an originator or to be a father, there has to be a mindset, a certain particular mindset. So if we were to say that the father actually is mind, okay, we could say that if we're not going to use religious terms, the father is an operational or functional term of originator or the mind. Okay, then we use the son. What is the son? The son is the iteration, or it is, I'm sorry, not the iteration, but is the pronunciation of the words of the mind, right? So the father is mind, the son is the words of the mind. You can't separate mind from the words. Words are the auditory sound of the mind. It gives voice to the mind. So it's important that so if we're going to say that the father is the mind and the son is the word of the mind, okay, and what would be the spirit? The spirit would be the operation or the function, okay, the operation or the function of the words from a legal perspective. The word, the mind, the word, and the functionality of the creator. That's what we call the Godhead. So in the beginning, I hear people say, Father, Son, Holy Ghost, but it's the tripartite of us as well. It is our mind, it is the words of our mind, and it is the functionality that comes out as a result, because your words will become in this realm, because this realm obeys and operates and functions by words. Words are operational and functional. Now, what is those? How do those words become operational and functional? Well, what spirit does is basically it allows for formulation of words to operate and to function and be put in a certain pattern where they are going to be functional. In this realm, it's called the scientific method. Scientifically, words are put into an operational, functional order that demands obedience and effectiveness in this realm. Okay, so that's important to understand, that the tripartiteness of us, three parts: mind, word, and functionality. Mind, word, functionality, or mind, word, operational, right? Spirit, soul, body. Father, Son, Holy Ghost. However you want to look at it, but the bottom line is this: when we speak of the Godhead, we're basically speaking, or I should say, when we're speaking of the creation matrix, what we're literally doing is showing you the order of how it's supposed to operate and function here in this realm, here in this sphere, here in this atmosphere. Okay, so Genesis 1:1 shows, and it's important for us to understand that the biblical narrative is not a religious book. It is a map. It is a treasure map. It's a life, a map of life learning to live effectively in this realm, how to be able to fulfill purpose in this realm. And it is not religious. And we're going to show you it's not religious, but they've made it religious. It's been made religious because of the profitability of religion. Okay. And if we look at the religions, we'll see how profitable it is. Now, okay, so let's look at the next phase. The next phase under the triangle of the Godhead, we see that, and what it probably could be is it could be alongside of the triangle, because mindfulness. Now, I've heard people talk about mindfulness a lot, and I think there's been a mistake of what mindfulness is. Mindfulness is only accomplished by the Creator. The Creator is the only one that is full of mind. That's why I talked about the Father being representative of a mind. That mind is full of every mind, every thought, every opinion, every operation, every function, everything. It is mindfulness means the action of it, the continuation of the continued mindfulness of the Creator. The Creator does not lack mind. The Creator is mindful 24/7, 365. The Creator is mindfulness. So mindfulness is something that is all inclusive of everything, every thought, every idea, every expression, every word, every operation, every function, everything is in mind. That's what makes the Creator the mastermind of all things, because there's no one that has mindfulness but the Creator. Now, if we were to look at let me read Genesis 1:26 and to 28. I'm gonna stop at 28. Well, we'll maybe read a little further. And the Creator said, "Let us make man in our own image and after our likeness." Our, talking about the three, the triune, the tripartite, right? That we've already talked about and we continue to talk about, is the originator, or it is the mind, the word of mind, and the functionality of mind. Okay, let us make man in our own image. Now it's important that we understand what man is. Okay, it's important that we understand what man is. Man is everything in this particular realm or this particular time. It is no physical or no genderized or gender or sex. It is all about functionality. Okay, it's all about functionality. So what are we talking about? Man here is not gender. It is not Adam. It is not Adam in the sense of Adam and Eve. It is Adam, but it is the thought of Adam and how Adam and Eve are to function in spirit. So it is literally the mandate of spirit man. Okay, both have man, right? Man, woman, right? Man, wombed man. Okay, because both have spirit. One is we'll talk about it. One is masculine, one's feminine. We'll talk about that. Okay, so let us make man in our own image and after our likeness, and let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, over the fowl of the air, and over the cattle, and over all the earth, and over every creeping thing that creeps upon the earth. So God created man in his own image. See, now in his image, it's important that you understand the image of a thing is not the thing. Your shadow is your image, but it is not you. It is the shapeness and the likeness of you, but it is not you in your totality. It doesn't have the full of humanity, of your humanity. It doesn't have the fullness of your humanity. Neither do we have the fullness of the humanity. No, it's not even the humanity. We don't have the fullness of what the Creator is. We have a shade of it. We have a shade of it. And that's done for our protection. That's done for our protection. And so, verse 27, and so the Creator created man in his own image, and in the image of the Creator created he him. Male and female created he them. Now, notice what he goes. He first talks about man, and then he talks about female and male. And it's important that we understand that the law of first mention. Anytime there's a law of first mention in the biblical narrative, this is the first time that male and female is used. And the reason is for that is what it does is it gives legitimacy and lawfulness for that principle, that idea to enter into this sphere. Everything comes by word. First by idea, then by word, then by operation. So first, the mind, the Father had to think about spirit. And that spirit had to be manifest in a way that it could function in this sphere. And the only way that that could happen is through male and female. So to introduce the idea of male and female, which was already, see this thing, that's why God is called the Alpha and the Omega, the beginning and again. He, she, it, however you want to describe. Everything was done in the mind before anything was done physically. So it was done in the mind. It from start to finish, or from beginning to end. Then he went back and started the start and moved to the end. But it was already done. It was already done. He moved from the start to the finish. Here in this, that's why Jesus said it is finished. He moved from start to finish was already done. It was already done when the Creator had it in his mind. So it's important that we understand, because the Creator is mindfulness, continue full of mind in operation. So the idea of mindfulness is being demonstrated here, because everything that's said was already mindful. The ideas had already taken place, right? It's impossible to say. We say, oh, I wasn't thinking. Yeah, you was. There was a thought of the thing that you said at some juncture before you said it, because no words come out without first having thought. It's impossible. Oh, I didn't think about that. I said that without thinking. No, you thought about it. And when you thought about it, it became an idea. And that idea found a way of expression. Okay? That's how it works. So what we're seeing here is we're seeing how it functions. We're seeing how mindfulness functions here in Genesis 1. And that was verse 26 or 27. Let's go to verse 28. And the Creator blessed them. See, this whole thing's already been done even before man was created. This is not where creation took place. This is the speaking forth, because God said. When we said, those are words, that's the Son. Right? And so verse 28 says, and God blessed them, and God said unto them, be fruitful and multiply and replenish the earth and subdue it, and have dominion over the fish of the sea, over the fowl of the air, and over every living thing that move upon the earth. Again, the dominion mandate. The dominion mandate calls for us to be able to function and operate it from a dominion perspective, but the only way that we can do that is to do it the way that the Creator said. Notice what was said in the verse before: male and female created he them. Why did he create them? Because of the necessity of them both functioning together, operating together in order to fulfill what's coming next. Men need women. Women need men. It's important we understand that. Now, it's another thing I need to say. Notice that he said male and female. Why did he not say men and women? Well, because he didn't bring them here fully developed. Male and female were at a position, if he didn't bring them here as babies, who would take care of babies? See, because when we are born, there's 3 stages. There's childhood, right? And in childhood, or we say boys and girls, and then there's adulthood. Well, it's not even adulthood. It's malehood and femalehood. That's where he brought them in as, where they are be able to function here, but they still needed development. And that's what bringing them here was to do, to help develop them into being men and women, man and woman. Okay, but so they were brought here male and female. They were created to be male and female, so that they're still learning. There was still development for them that was necessary. Okay, let's go on to verse 29. And God said, "Behold, look." Perceive. See, beholding something means be aware, be conscious of. The consciousness was important, and consciousness still is important. But the consciousness that's going to get results is the consciousness that the Creator has already outlined for us. If it's outlined for us and we go another way, the results are on us. But if we want to have the proper type of results, we have to have the proper type of awareness and the proper type of consciousness. He says, "Behold, I have given you every herb bearing seed which is upon the face of all the earth, and every tree in the which is the fruit of the tree yielding seed. To you it shall be for meat." Now, people get off into all these other tangents, but the bottom line is this. It's the idea of thought. It's the idea of consciousness and awareness. Always remember, the law first mentioned is very, very critical to the foundation of what something is supposed to be. When the Creator says something about something, that is the original idea of it. Okay? That is the original idea. And if we are going to have and understand the original idea, right? I got to get in the middle of the screen here, off to the side. And if we're going to understand and operate functionally, we've got to do it not our way, but the Creator's way. Okay? Okay. And let's read verse 30. "And to every beast of the field, or every beast of the earth, and to every fowl of the air, and to everything that creepeth upon the earth, wherein there is life, I have given every herb, a green herb, for meat." And it was so. And God saw everything that he had made, and behold, it was very good. And the evening and the morning were the 6th day. Now, there's a lot there. We don't have time to go into it. We have to go. Well, I want to stick to what the matrix is. But when we look at the mindfulness of God, even looking at what I just read, and even verse 1 and verse 2, where it says, "In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth was without form and void, and darkness covered the face of the earth, face of the deep, and the Spirit of God moved upon the face of the earth, the waters." Now, it's important that we understand, before that could happen, there had to be a mindfulness of it. There had to be an idea of it. So here's the first reference in the totality of creation. We begin in the first 3 verses. We see the operation of the mind, the words, and the spirit, or function, or operation. We see Father, Son, Holy Ghost in the first 3 verses. We see Father, Son, Spirit, right? We see mind, we see consciousness and word, and we see operation and function. Mindfulness. Now, we have to understand that the Creator had everything in mind. That's why the Creator is mindful. The mind of the Creator is full. of everything, right? Of everything. Now, and one thing that is very, very important in that we must identify as very, very critical, and we see it when we look at verse in Genesis. We see that when the Creator says in verse 26, let us make man in our own image and after our purpose, and then he begins to give him purpose. Man's purpose, the humanity's purpose, is the dominion mandate. That is our general purpose. That is the overarching purpose of all humanity, to have dominion. See, we think that the idea is to go to heaven. No. We were created to come here to have dominion. Once we have spent our time here, we return back to our place of origin. But we're sent here to exercise the dominion mandate. The dominion mandate is what we're here to operate in, and that dominion mandate is the overarching purpose of humanity. Now, how does that go about? How do we go about doing that? How do we go about fulfilling general purpose? Because purpose is the original idea and intent for a thing. So how does this whole idea of general purpose or dominion mandate get fulfilled? Through individual purpose. Everyone has an individual purpose that contributes to the general purpose that gives way to the dominion mandate or the fulfillment of the dominion mandate. And how we operate within our purpose is direct reflection to the dominion mandate and direct from our purpose, which come from spirit, from the tripartite, the three-partate of the Godhead, the creationship. Okay, so this purpose that we have that has been given to humanity, each one of us are given an individual purpose. Individual purpose contributes to the general purpose, right? Which is the dominion mandate. Okay? Which comes from the Godship or the creationship. So here's what we have to understand about purpose. Where we are in his image and in his likeness, okay? Whereas the Creator has mindfulness. If you look on the matrix, you'll see that purpose gives us mindedness. Mindedness. Now, what is mindedness? Mindedness is pinpointed mind. It allows us to be tunnel visioned toward a specific idea. That idea is our purpose. Tunnel vision. Whereas God has mind full of everything, your mind should be full of one thing, purpose. Your individual purpose. As it contributes to the dominion mandate or the general purpose. Does that make sense? Okay. So we're in the likeness. We're in the likeness and in the image of the Creator. And on the matrix, I could have mindfulness set out beside, and I probably will move it because it makes more sense that way, because it shows a more accurate flow. That the mindfulness should be outside next to the Creator, as is purpose. Mindedness is on purpose. See, because it's an image, it's a likeness, right? It's not the same. Whereas the Creator is full of mind, we have specific mind, just tunnel in individual purpose. Okay, does that make sense? Okay, now that's important. So we have purpose. Now, purpose, when purpose is given and the mindfulness comes, it's important to understand that purpose is not, it brings what we call at PQI, it brings specific things. And the first thing it's going to bring is it's going to bring energy. It's going to bring energy, and that energy is designed to fulfill the individual purpose. Now, the first thing it's going to do is going to bring two energies, and it depends on your purpose as to which energy that you will receive. Okay. Now, the two energies is, as we see here, is binary. Okay, is masculine and feminine. Purpose dictates masculine and feminine. Purpose dictates masculine and feminine. Purpose dictates masculine and feminine. Now, it's important that we understand this. Binary is the universal mode of operation that has been dictated by the universe. Positive, negative, yin, yang, masculine, feminine. Everything is binary. What we're trying to say nowadays is that there is no binary. There is non-binary. There is no such thing. There's no such thing. Everything is binary. Everything has a yin and a yang. Okay, binary. Now let's describe what the binary looks like. Okay, as you see on the masculine side, there is an arrow. Why? Because when we shoot an arrow penetrates, right? It inserts. It pierces, right? That's what a masculine does. Again, it's understanding this. It has nothing to do with gender. Has nothing to do with sex. It has to do with operation and function as it relates to purpose. So if your purpose is for you to penetrate or to insert, then masculine would be you will line up with your purpose from a masculine perspective. Purpose will connect with masculine. If it's feminine, what you see the target. Target is the best way I could show that is it hits, it receives, right? It receives, it nurtures, it is the target, it is the spot, it is the place of receptivity, of reception, it is the place of security, it's the place of protection, and so as close as I could, I used the target as being that to represent the feminine energy. So if your purpose dictates you receiving, your purpose dictates you being able to incubate, nurture, or protect, or secure, then feminine would be the energy that your purpose dictates. So with that being in mind, what has to happen next, it has to come into this sphere. It has to come into this sphere. Let's look at Genesis 1:8. Let me see where we got here. Let's look at Genesis 1:8 and 9. It said, and God called the firmament heaven, and the evening and the morning were the second day. Verse 9, and God said, let the waters under the heavens be gathered together in one place, and let the earth and the dry land appear, and it was so. And God called the dry land earth, and the gathering together of the waters called he seas, and God saw that it was good. Let's move back up a little bit more. Let's look at verse 6. And God said, let there be a firmament in the midst of the firmament of the waters, and let it divide the waters from the waters. Now, what's happening now is scientific methodology is being placed. Firmament determines science. In order for something to operate and to function within the firmament, there had to be scientific law, scientific confirmation, and the word I'm looking for is not confirmation, is basically to obey and to coincide with the law to come into this. But everything had to operate by law, and that's where scientific method comes in. Scientific method is basically the word that men use. Like, see, when the creator, remember, we're in his image, where the creator used the son, father, son being the word of mind. In our operation here on earth, our mind is to operate on this earth using scientific method, statistics, and data. That is what runs this sphere. Oh, that's good stuff. That is what runs this sphere that we live in. Okay? And so to come into this sphere, everything has to operate and to function by scientific method. Now, understand this. Masculine and feminine do not operate by scientific method. Scientific method are chemistry, what I just told you, is statistics, data, information. Okay, but what masculine and feminine operators from is principles. Masculine and feminine is a principle. And it's not a gender, it's a principle. And I shared those with you. The insert, penetrate, right? Incubate and receive. Those are principles. Those aren't gender. But in order for those things to operate, in order for masculine and feminine to operate into the sphere, it had to come into this realm. In order for it to come into this realm, it had to put on proper means and mode of operation. It had to put on and operate scientifically. So in order to do that, it had to change from masculine to masculinity, from feminine to femininity. Okay? It's important to understand that, because when we start looking at, when we look at the suffix, let's see, the suffix ity, what does it mean? Okay, the suffix ity, what is it? The Britannica says that it means the state, the quality, or the degree of a thing. So when it comes, masculinity comes and it puts on a state, a quality or degree. There's certain degree, and all these line up with science or the necessity of whatever qualities or state that is needed to function within this sphere, for it to meet those qualifications in order for it to properly, legitimately, and lawfully operate in this realm. So how does that happen? How does that happen? Well, it happened when the creator brought Adam and said, let us create Adam. And eventually that those words put on operation. And when it put on operation, what had to happen was Adam had to operate and meet the specifications to be able to lawfully operate in this sphere when he came into this sphere. Now, understand, masculine was to pierce. So in order for Adam to come, he had to pierce this realm. That's lawful. That's legitimate. He had to insert himself into this sphere. That's lawful. But Eve, or woman who receives, could not. She could not enter into this sphere. She could not, because she doesn't pierce. She doesn't insert. Doesn't have the that's not what femininity does. That's not what feminine does. So feminine could not enter into the sphere lawfully. And if it was to try, it would not have been successful. So how did feminine get here? Great question, isn't it? I think I have an answer. The answer is this. It was covered by masculine. It was covered by masculine. Covered. Okay? To make it lawful for Adam to bring Eve into this sphere. Oh man, or masculine to bring feminine into this sphere. Okay? And when that happened, Adam was in here, and that's when the Creator said it's not good for man to be all one or alone. It's not good. Adam became aware of that and conscious of that after he began to see all and name all the creatures, and that they had suitable mates. I don't like the word partner. Suitable mates, but there was no mate found for him. Did not the Creator know that? Absolutely. So what did what was the Creator waiting for? For Adam to become conscious and aware. Remember, we talked about consciousness and awareness before in the whole idea of mind and mindfulness, right? And mindedness. And so Adam, once into this sphere, was able to name everything, but God let him name everything. So what's that? Okay, all right. So what's that? Okay. And Adam began to see how they operate and function. And so as he saw how they operate and function, he said, that's because that's how I operate and function. And and then he named everything and how it functions. But he found nothing that could match with him on how to function. He became conscious of that and became aware of that. And once he became conscious and aware of that, now that gave him the ability to agree with, because the most powerful function on earth is agreement. We're going to talk more about that later. The most powerful force on earth is agreement. So he began to agree with the Creator, and because of that, the Creator said that he said, we're going to put you to sleep. It's the way we and see what we're talking about is, whereas we talked about consciousness and awareness, he was going to block off his awareness and his consciousness. Why would he do that? So that Adam could not take credit for the creation, or not even the creation, because she was already created, but he could not take credit for the forming of Eve. See, Adam was created, Eve was formed. Adam was created, Eve was formed. Well, how do we say that? Well, because a rib was taken from Adam. What is that indicative of? That's indicative of the DNA. The DNA of Adam. This is why men can speak into the lives of women and speak to how a woman is to function. Why? Because a woman came from man, not the other way around. See, woman came from man, but men come through women. There's a difference. There's a difference. Every person born comes through, but comes from man, but comes through woman. That's the partnership of the relationship between man and woman. Okay, so what we have here is we have man and woman, or Adam and Eve, here in this sphere. And when Adam sees Eve, his first thing he said was, "Whoa, man!" See, because he named everything. Now he had, and he said this. He said, "Because she's bone of my bone and flesh of my flesh." He knew her. Why? Because her was him, and that two became one. That's the idea. So when we start talking about the idea of man and woman coming together in union, there's two to become one, but yet there's really only one. It's really only one. So that one is man, and man goes out, and that man is spirit. And that spirit is the unity that understands purpose. Both man and woman have purpose. Both have purpose. The difference is she has yin to your yang. See, Eve came and was the yin to Adam's yang. And that's important for you, gentlemen, to find the yin to your yang. Ladies, if he doesn't, if he's not the yang to your yin, then he's not the one. You don't change yourself for someone. You find that person that accentuates you. But that's what we do. We want people that we want people to do things for us. But no, it's about how that person accentuates us and make us better and able to fulfill and walk in purpose. Okay, so it's important. Okay, so Adam and Eve are here on the earth, right? Man and woman is here, male and female, however you want to call it. I think as they begin to develop, okay, the choice of matriculating to man and womanhood was a part of their developmental process, just like it is today. Okay, so it is at this point where Adam and Eve, how they learn to procreate, okay? How did they learn to procreate? By observing other creatures. That's how they learned. They learned specific behaviors from the other creatures. That's why Adam was able to name them. And he was able to not only name them, but to understand why they function. That is a tremendous mind. And then Eve would come up with strategy on how to use that idea, that thought that Adam had, and bring it into fruition and make it fit for them to be able to function and to be, sustain themselves in this realm. It was co-laboring. It wasn't man telling woman what to do. No, it wasn't. It's never been that. Religion has made it that. But that is not the proper functionality. That is not the proper operation for men and women in this sphere. Okay? All right. So now, let's talk about, briefly, let's talk about how we look here and we see the sphere, the earth atmosphere and environment. We talked about how that we pierce that. And now we have to obey the scientific method, and masculine and feminine becomes masculinity and femininity, which is the quality, state, or degree of masculine and feminine. Okay. Now, once that occurs, masculinity and femininity becomes the means by which we're to function in this sphere, in this atmosphere. Masculine, it still pierces, it still inserts, and femininity still receives and still incubates. But it does it through a scientific methodology. And what is that? Childbearing. If you have sex, you're going to have children. All things being equal. All things being equal. Adam and Eve saw the way to have offspring was how they saw other creations, other animals have procreate. So they began to use the same method that they saw. Nothing caught them off guard. They saw that there was impregnation, they act, and then there was pregnancy, and there was a time period, and then there was a birthing process. They saw that, and as they saw that, they began to understand that this is how they go about having and multiplying, and because that dominion mandate is still always in their mind, and so they learned and understood how to procreate. Everything was procreating around them, and that with that came the idea of procreating. Now, it's more there. There's a whole lot more, a whole lot there that I want to talk about, and that I go into in my book called In the Midst of the Garden. And in the midst of the garden, we talk more specifically of what happened in the Garden of Eden. It will change your life. It will change the way you think about things. You need to get the book. Okay, so Adam and Eve now have learned how to procreate. They've learned how to work together. Adam would see things and have operate and visions of things, and he would talk to Eve about those things, and Eve would look at strategies and plans and how to bring that into fruition. Oh, it's awesome. The Creator is awesome, and how this was planned and done for us. Okay, so. And it's important, even the symbols that we use. If you look at the symbols for masculinity and femininity, what you see is, for the male, you see an arrow that inserts. And for the femininity, you see a plus for increases, right? You see a 0, but you see for the masculinity, you see an arrow, insert, right? Penetrate, right? The O represents spirit, right? The arrow represents gender. On the other side, the 0 represents spirit, but the plus means increase. It means to receive. It means to increase. It means to receive and to incubate and to secure. Okay? And so those become very, very important as well. And we've read it time and time again in Genesis 26 and 27. Let us make man in our own image and after our own likeness, and let them have dominion. Okay, we saw that. So now, Adam and Eve, man and woman, have found out how to increase. They get together and they have children. That's how it started. That is how we and it's more to go into when we're going to start talking about that boy and that girl. We're going to start talking about the stages of development and how Adam and Eve begin to teach them, right? And how they begin to multiply using the principles that they've already learned. Well, I hope you got something out of that. I enjoyed sharing it with you. Let me see if I can. Again, this is something different. Okay. So let me come out of this, and let me come out of this and come right back here. And I hope that you got something out of that. This is groundbreaking. If you've ever heard of it before, I don't know. Maybe you have it, maybe you haven't. I don't know. But what I want you to do is I want you to go to our email address that you see tickering underneath the screen. And I want you to, if you want to come on and you want to talk about some things on our chat, and what I need you to do is to email me your email address, and I'll send you the link so that you can be a part of the conversation, because I would love to conversate with you and to talk to you about the things that we're talking about here, because it's important that we get on God's agenda, on the Creator's agenda, and not try to ascertain and make the agenda his or hers or its, however you want to describe, because the Creator has all of those things, because the Creator is what? Mindfulness. Mindful, right? Okay, so and someone would say, well, where do you get this from? This is my purpose. That's why I know it. It came here with me. It came here with me. This is why I'm saying what I'm saying. My mentor gave and laid hands on me and said that he was comfortable with me having the words concerning purpose. This is about purpose. It really is. It is about purpose. Everything I talk about is about purpose. Some people wouldn't think that because of some of the things that I say. And some of the things I say is a reason behind it, but they don't ask what the reason is. They don't ask. And I don't tell, because if you have an ear to hear, let them hear. Those that have an ear to hear will hear. And those won't. So the creation matrix. Oh my goodness. That was tremendous. And if you want, there's ways that I can give you. I would be willing to give you a free copy of this. You send me your email address. I'll send you the matrix. And with the matrix, I'll send you the book that's called that I just created. The book called The Creation Matrix, along with it. It's in there. Okay, I'll send you both because they're there together. I'll send free, no free. I'll send you the Creation Matrix free of charge. Okay, so send me your email. You can use that email, or you can use PalmerGA15@gmail. Use either one of those. PalmerGA15@gmail, and I'll have it linked. I have it in the description as well. Okay. Well, that's it. We're going to stop there. Okay. Again, I appreciate you spending this time with me. You could be doing a myriad of other things, but you spent this time with me. And so I appreciate it so much. And until the next time, peace.
In our current global climate, we're facing challenges never before experienced by this generation. Oppositions where no one seems to have clear directions or answers to the risks facing us. Confrontations like racial and gender unrest, political gerrymandering, toxic leadership, economic crisis, global pandemic, health threats, pre-existing medical conditions, isolation, boredom, and loneliness are driving people to desperation. As a result, people are confused, afraid, anxious, and perplexed, and they need answers to some tough questions and even tougher situations. They are looking into different outlets for answers to gain assurance and consolation. Some have drawn closer to the embrace of family, while others look more towards their friendships, education, and even religion. What we need is a fresh voice of truth and clarity, and not a stale religious echo from the past. There's a re-emerging voice on the horizon that isn't afraid to stand alone and give spiritual and mentally sound direction to a world searching for answers. G. Alfred Palmer offers a voice of sound human development and empowerment to those willing to hear. There's a need for new ideas to old principles, a perspective from a timeless origin, but with current vision, a thought leader who understands what it means to stand alone and speak truth when some are hard of hearing. But if you've been waiting to hear a voice that opens the gates of freedom and breaks the shackles of confusion to allow you to step forward into the dawning of a new and exciting future, then it's time to bridge the gap with Dr. G. Alfred Palmer. He is a dynamic speaker, thought leader, and entrepreneur, equipped to elevate, expand, and extend the development, empowerment, and leadership of his audiences. He stands ready to speak at your next event. His delivery is guaranteed to refresh, entertain, and transform. G. Alfred Palmer bridges the gap from uncertainty to the purpose, to passion, and leadership. Book him today for your next event, and you won't be disappointed.